Hello, it's me again. Do you fancy yourself a wizard? Are you constantly fighting with the dark arts? Do you love Harry Potter? Do you love Hogwarts Legacy? Do you want to implement stuff from that game into your tabletop role playing game? Well, we're going to talk about it right here, give you everything you need to know. Let's go! Hey everyone, it's Sacred with Sacred Art of Gaming, and today we're diving into specifically the video game Hogwarts Legacy and how that has inspired me to implement portions of that into my game, the inspiration that came from it. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even don't hate me. I'm not a Hogwarts guy. I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I seen the movies? Yes. Do I love them like I love other things? No, I don't. I don't. I'm more of a Game of Thrones kind of guy. I would even say like Lord of the Rings. The whole wand thing is just kind of strange to me, but this blew me away. I got over the wand thing. I thought the wand thing was cool. I thought everything was cool because of how they delivered it. This is Sacred here. If you're into pulling inspiration from various different sources, implementing them into your tabletop role playing games, you're in the right place. Please consider liking, commenting, subscribing if you're digging the content. Now let's get into it. So, to start with probably the obvious, the spell diversity. Could there have been more? Sure. Was I happy with what was provided? Absolutely. I had a ton of fun with it. And having the ability to have spells that were more than just I do damage at something was amazing. They've got spells for utility, they've got spells for exploration, they've got spells for damage and combat too. They've got spells that kind of set up like a nice little 1-2 punch for certain creature. If you're like me, Ars Magica is going to be the main thing that you're thinking of during the entirety of all of this, because Ars Magica probably has what I would consider probably the best magic system. There are other parts to it that I don't love as much, but Ars Magica is amazing for magic. I would say the next one that I would have in mind after that, City of Mist also is another one that just that part seems amazing, but there are other aspects. And then after that, it would be Dungeon Crawl Classics. Dungeon Crawl Classics has a really cool magic system as well. Feel free to look at any of those. I can talk more about any, I probably will, even if you don't ask, I probably will discuss at least one of those for sure. But yes, the for Hogwarts, right? So they break it down by like colors, for example, to kind of give you an idea of like what category the different magics fall into. And you could absolutely utilize something similar to that in your game. Some games already do something sort of like that. I did talk about Dragon Age recently. They kind of do something, kind of give you an idea with the primal and stuff. Force. And ideally, if you have some spell customization, there's a little bit of that that's probably on the same wavelength as like Savage Worlds, where you can do like a modification to it, where instead of and you can't change it all the time in the game, but Savage Worlds you could. So instead of affecting like, just one person that you want to make them levitate, now you're making three people levitate, an area levitating, etc. This next part really blew me away. The sense of discovery in that game. That game really, more so than most games I've played, took exploration and made it really fun, made the puzzles really fun, which I'm also going to kind of talk about, and it's through the use of magic. So to pull from this, you can riddle various areas with various hidden areas with some special rewards, some secret passages that maybe give shortcuts, and then also reward them with lore if that's the type of party that you like, especially if there's like a larger mystery at play. That lore could be huge. And while exploring, the world in Hogwarts Legacy just felt alive with the amount of things that you can interact with. There's books that are just flying around the library. You can pull it down with a spell. There's other spells that you can use to like find a way to open a chest that maybe has an eyeball. If it sees you coming, it won't open. And as an addition to that, adding NPCs, although I wouldn't say this is like the best thing from the game, but their NPC interactions we're pretty good. And if you're doing like a school type game, like a kids on bikes, ETU, kids on brooms, of course. I've never played kids on brooms, but I assume that it would follow that almost exactly, where your day to day in class kind of results in some melodrama there. There could be some things that lead to like larger scale combats, puzzles, exploration that maybe do. Maybe they're not talking about directly, but maybe indirectly. Oh, hey, yeah, no, I heard weird noises in the crypt. And next thing you know, you go down there and you find something secret or whatever. The use of puzzles and the exploration to that, I think was my favorite part of the game. I kind of already touched on that with the sense of discovery because they do kind of go hand in hand. It's you discover the puzzle, you do the puzzle, and that was just so good. And honestly, I do want to start implementing that in games in some way on both a solo side, which would be more difficult, but I accept the challenge. And then also gaming with a group, of course, that would be easier because then you know what the results of the puzzle should be. And then using magic, that's huge. So like just having magic spells that do more than just damage. I almost like magic that doesn't do damage, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think I prefer the magic to almost be like more of a utility in my games. I just think that that's just way more exciting than kind of like the 5e approach where what's the best spell? Well, which one rolls the most dice? The magic just adds so many different interesting ways to deal with problems, whether it's, how do I get to a place that's high? How do I get across this obstacle that, maybe there's vines and maybe the vines, they damage you whenever there's darkness, but maybe you can create light and then they go back. What if you don't have the light spell? Then what would you do? Is there so like for your game, do they have a lantern? Is that something they could use? Making light just an important resource as it should be. Thanks, Shadow Dark. So this just adds if you wanted this type of world, which I absolutely do, you could create a world that's just constantly interacting with the magic and having certain types of magic spells are almost like a utility belt that you have to solve problems. And that may even guide the campaign depending on what they have available to them. So maybe they're trying to go through the forest, but maybe it turns out they can't go through the forest because there's crazy spider people that have no weakness other than lightning. They have no weakness other than lightning for some reason. That's just I don't know. That's their weakness, and it would be difficult to deal with them unless they have lightning. They don't have lightning. They either go around or they try to find a way to get a lightning spell so they can go through there and deal with it. It just adds so many layers of storytelling that aren't just plot point campaign. Oh, I completed this, and then I did that, and then I did this, and then I did that. The story is in the details. It's in the journey. And then, lastly, an incredible usage of magic for everyday gameplay. Downtime comes to mind. Something like being able to repair something. Of course, in the game, they can kind of just flick the wand and basically fix like an entire town. In your game, I don't know if you'd want that much power, depending on the type of game that you're playing. But like, let's say you have weapons that get damaged, they can just do that and fix it in 2 seconds with a flick of their wand. There's no mana points. That's something that you'd have to consider. Maybe you don't even have damaged armor and weapons at that point. But it is very interesting to be dealing with stuff like that, whether it's healing, repairing all of your things like sleep, things like shelter, things like food. A lot of interesting things to unpack there for even just like your day-to-day life. Maybe even like learning a new skill and just implementing magic that isn't necessarily combat focused magic in everything that you do. And if you're unsure as how to do that, you can kind of think of our lives currently in 2024, right? It's almost like the stuff that we're doing now is almost like magic compared to like many years ago. Remember there was a show called Heroes where there was a girl where she would watch a video and then she would just pick up on that skill instantly after watching a video. Of course, it's extreme because she can like watch a video of them flying a helicopter and then she learns that. But on a smaller level, like I can watch a video today on how to fix a sink and I will then go and attempt to fix my sink. My experience, it usually starts with a fix that goes wrong. I go to the hardware store, I come back, and then it's fixed, and then the floor is wet. But you get my point. The technology that we have at our disposal right now is insane. And Magic is kind of similar, right? So, those are some examples of things that I love in the Hogwarts Legacy video game and things that you can pull from that, be inspired by, to implement into your tabletop game if you are not doing so already. Did I miss anything? What aspects of maybe something similar would you love to see in your tabletop game? Let me know in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're digging the stuff that I am providing to you, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next video, which should be weekly, thank you for watching. This is Sacred, signing out.